Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News afternoon report for Friday, the 14th of June 2024. I'm Adam Lang. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1. Wall Street reached yet another record overnight thanks to AI-related companies such as Nvidia, Apple, Broadcom and Adobe. The S&P ASX 200 opened with a slight drop and broadly stayed there today, down 0.3% to 7,724 points. Consumer discretionary, healthcare and consumer staples were the only rising sectors today, and across the last week, the index has dropped 1.7% and sits 2.4% below the high point of the last 12 months. Among the top performers today were Tabcorp Holdings, Life360 and Smart Group, and at the bottom of the ASX table, Deterra Royalties share price fell nearly 7% to $4.15 after it made a $277 million bid for British lithium mining group Trident Royalties. In corporate news, Telix Pharmaceuticals cancelled plans for a US IPO. That initially caused the share price to fall, but it crept up during the day to close up 1% at $16.61. Story number 2, AGL Energy has warned that the investment case for new wind and solar generation is tricky and the group will instead focus on hydro, gas and batteries. It comes a day after rival Origin Energy said it would minimise its solar and wind asset ownership and focus on renewable energy purchase contracts, rooftop solar, batteries and gas. AGL's Chief Operating Officer Markus Brockhoff said AGL would also ramp up its direct investment in energy firming assets, specifically hydro. He told the Australian Financial Review that AGL would invest in everything from batteries to pumped hydro facilities and gas-fired power stations. The investment case for solar is tricky because their peak power generation times during the day coincide with the lowest demand. Wind generation was similarly tricky because revenues were relatively low. He said hydro was undervalued when it comes to the energy transition as it opens up deep storage capabilities for the energy market, plugging a gap that has plagued the renewable sector as the development of large-scale batteries flounders. Story number 3. According to new data from insurer Allianz Australia, in 2023, workers took an average of 76 days off work, for each compensation claim primarily linked to a mental health condition. That amounted to 655,000 days of work lost to workplace mental health injuries last year across 155,000 employers insured by Allianz. The most common causes of injury complaints were work-related harassment and bullying, work pressure and work stress burnout, and that was according to The Australian. In the financial year 2021, government agency Safe Work Australia put the total time lost to serious claims for work-related mental health conditions in the economy at 588,699 working weeks. Allianz Chief General Manager of Personal Injury, Julie Mitchell, said the significant increase in claim volumes predated COVID-19 and was being driven by factors including a rise in violent customer behaviour against frontline workers, reducing the stigma around disclosing mental health issues, employee expectations empowering more workers to call out bad behaviour, and the rising cost of living putting more strain on the workforce. Story number 4. Tesla shareholders have reaffirmed a pay award of more than US $48 billion, that's 72 billion Australian dollars, for Chief Executive Elon Musk. The vote on the package came after the original payment was thrown out in a legal challenge and occurred at Tesla's annual general meeting, demonstrating shareholders' faith in Mr. Musk. Tesla now has to persuade the judge who voided the award to reinstate it. The original ruling was that the pay package was tainted because members of the board failed to disclose conflicts of interests that stemmed from their personal and financial ties to Mr. Musk. If successful, it should push Elon Musk back to the richest person in the world. And story number 5, former President Donald Trump has told an influential group of CEOs that he wants to further cut the corporate tax rate, which he lowered while in office. Both Mr. Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, and Jeffrey Zients, representing US President Joe Biden, met with the Business Roundtable in Washington. The prominent group represents more than 200 CEOs. Neither side was commenting publicly on what was said at the meeting, but reports said Trump wants to cut the corporate tax rate by a percentage point to an even 20%. The former president focused his remarks on taxes, inflation, and the need for more oil production. By comparison, The Australian corporate tax rate is 30%. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 14th of June, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Sean Aylmer and Michael Thompson tomorrow morning for the Weekend Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Adam Lang. Enjoy your evening.